I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have back with us Dr. Hack from Utopia. Dr. Hack, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for coming back on.
Thank you very much for having me here.
You're very welcome. It's been about a year since we last spoke about Utopia and all of the ecosystem that has been developed in decentralized peer-to-peer networking. There's so much to cover. For the viewers that didn't see our first interview, I'd love to just re-kick it off with an explanation of what is Utopia, how does it bring value, and how does it utilize all these technologies to bring privacy and protection to the users.
Sure. I would recommend to all such viewers to search Utopia on your channel to see our interview, which was done last year. I'll explain Utopia in a few lines. Utopia is a decentralized peer-to-peer ecosystem, development of which began covertly in about 2013, and it was officially released in November of 2019. It is providing access to secure and surveillance-resistant communication and finance. In about August of this year, Utopia launched Utopia USD, which is a stablecoin. For those wondering what is Utopia USD, USD is a stablecoin which is built upon Utopia's serverless peer-to-peer blockchain, which currently powers the all-in-one kit for secure instant messaging, encrypted email, voice communication, and private web browsing.
Very cool. Thank you for that overview. And yeah, last I recall, there's so much functionality inside of the application, and you do have the native cryptocurrency. And if I'm not wrong, there's another cryptocurrency as well, but there's also the Utopia USD. Is that right?
Yes, that is right. That is right. If you allow me, I'll explain about Utopia USD in detail. Like the native Utopia currency Krypton, Utopia USD also features anonymous transactions by default and does not reveal any identifying information to its blockchain, rendering its history completely untraceable. Every transaction is completely private and leaves absolutely no metadata visible. No other cryptocurrency currently provides this level of future-proof, untraceable transactions. Competing private cryptocurrencies rely on obfuscation techniques rather than genuine anonymization and are vulnerable to various tracking tools offered by the likes of CyberTrace, etc. Utopia USD is designed to maintain a 1:1 parity with the US dollar. Utopia USD is an anonymous, secure, instant, and liquid payment method. Its value is backed by the DAI cryptocurrency collateral that equals the total supply of Utopia USD. And the initial supply is 1 million USD backed by a million DAI located in a public Ethereum wallet, which can be viewed by anyone. So we don't have to go in such issues which we see against USDT that everyone is asking them to prove the backing, which they are, I don't know if they have or not.
That's great. And that's amazing, all of the privacy functionality that is able to be designed inside of the blockchain. There's a lot of discussion recently about other privacy coins, and I'm glad that you mentioned there the differences between them. And I'm curious, with all of that privacy functionality built in to the protocol automatically, you also have, you can have decentralized exchanges, you can also have centralized exchanges, and then if you have centralized exchanges, there can be maybe the exchange asks you for your personal information or in other ways, not through the currency specifically, but is the Utopia USD also traded on decentralized and centralized exchanges?
Well, Utopia is all about privacy. Keeping privacy in mind, the liquidity of Utopia USD is supported by market-making algorithms on several exchanges, including Krypton exchange. If you remember in our last interview, I mentioned that an integral exchange was in the works, and Krypton exchange is the same which has been launched. In Krypton exchange, conversion is possible at a near zero fee exchange rate. Krypton exchange is natively integrated anonymous crypto exchange, which with instant deposits and automated withdrawals. The exchange is available in the censorship-resistant form inside Utopia ecosystem by the domain CRP, or can also be viewed on ClearNet by visiting crp.is if for some reason someone cannot access Utopia. Monero community will be happy to know that CRP Exchange has also listed Monero trading pair, which means that Utopia is advocating and supporting coins with similar interest. As we talked last time, that Monero may be anonymous, but all the exchanges where it is listed require some form of verification, which you just mentioned. By listing Monero and CRP exchange, Utopia has helped Monero to serve the purpose for which it was built.
Love it. Very cool. And with that internal exchange and in the Utopia ecosystem, is there any requirements or KYC or personal information that you need to give to start using Utopia in the ecosystem?
No. There's none. It's not just that there are no verifications of any sort. Utopia was built with privacy. I mean, I have said this word so many times because that's the main emphasis of Utopia. So Utopia was built with privacy and utility in mind. That is anonymous transactions which are instant, and they're like 30 to 40 times cheaper than Ethereum transactions. Being a P2P platform, it rules out network congestions, and utility features like crypto cards, which enables payments, invoicing. U-vouchers will allow offline and transaction. And of course, an easy-to-use graphical interface with built-in API tools for merchants, developers who are already building great products inside Utopia.
Well, great to know. Thank you for that, Dr. Hack. And also, with all of the functionality inside of Utopia and having the exchanges there, obviously it's privacy-focused, as you keep mentioning, but I'm curious about the security and the integrity of the ecosystem itself, and from the developers, and you said that it's a decentralized system. So to what degree is the decentralization in the fact that the creators or the admins can or cannot control people and things inside of the ecosystem?
We had a similar talk about the encryption mechanism in our last interaction. Each ecosystem user privacy is protected by utilizing dynamic multi-link routing engine. Man-in-the-middle attack protection is also there. Encryption is implemented in authentication mode using the libsodium. Sodium library has a function of a libsodium using the public key encryption algorithm, which encrypts, signs, and authenticates packets, objects, and connections between the pairs. The encryption algorithms I just mentioned, there are various in place like Curve 25519, Xalsa 20, Stream Cipher, Poly 1305, MAC. And by now, so many researchers and bug bounty hunters have tried to dissect the ecosystem, and it is still standing strong. Utopia blockchain is based on proof of stake and proof of resource algorithms. Full nodes are located around the globe which participate in packet routing and validation, in return receiving a reward after every 15 minutes, which is one block's generation time. By providing internet connectivity, RAM, and CPU resources of a miner machine, reward is given in terms of Krypton. Same miners make Utopia resilient to censorship. I would request everyone who are listening to this to Google Utopia routing mechanism and network encryption. I'm sure it will leave everyone impressed on the efforts went into ensuring how users of the ecosystem stay anonymous.
Amazing. Thank you for that information. And last time we spoke as well, we were talking about new exchange listings and growing the ecosystem for the coins, for Krypton and Utopia USD outside of the ecosystem. I'm curious if you have any updates on, is there new exchange listings? Is that a part of the focus for the ecosystem?
Well, actually, the problem with exchanges is that they have to comply with regional laws. We don't blame them, but they have to comply, which in the garb of security extract user personal data. For example, the recent examples of Bitmart and Ascend EX getting hacked won't be the last of such news we hear. Utopia takes great pride in protecting user data, and therefore it is not engaging with such platforms and is being very selective about where to get Krypton listed. Because of same reason, Utopia launched the Integral Exchange, which eradicates all KYC related issues for its users. Although, team is still making efforts to list on exchanges which respect user data. And they have mentioned that getting Krypton listed on more exchanges is still in the works. While some exchanges have already listed Krypton on their own, like LA Token and P2P, B2B, etc. And yeah, that's all. Although I would like to talk about the price movement, because many of the viewers which are inside this crypto also like to know about the price of a token. So no one can predict that, to be honest. But as demand increases, the price will increase due to limited supply. For instance, just in last 2 months, Krypton price went from an average of $0.1 to $1.4. And that too happened organically, as the price is still steady after the lapse of 2 months, indicating that people are understanding the uniqueness of the project.
Wow, that's great growth to hear about. and I'm glad that you're focused on external listings, and of course, yeah, you want to make sure that the privacy is a focus, and the regulatory bodies are, constantly coming in on larger, big exchanges and enforcing that kind of non-privacy. And I was looking at, Utopia on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, and I saw that, the volume it's great to see the price increase. The volume's not the highest. I'm curious if you have any insights into the volume and the trading of the coins.
Yeah. CMC and CoinGecko, etc., they show trading volume of exchanges which they have added. And being a privacy-centric platform, people prefer to use the integral exchange Krypton. And that is why the trading volume appears less than the actual amount, because Krypton is on the Utopia ecosystem and is not listed or supported by CMC and CoinGecko. But to be honest, it's a matter of time before Krypton integral exchange also gets listed on CMC and CoinGecko, and the trading volume will be not an issue.
Okay, so a lot of the trading is going on the integral exchange on the platform, and you mentioned the price increase of the coin. I'm curious about the actual ecosystem itself. Is there a lot of growth coming in terms of users and daily active users in line with the growth of the tokens as well?
Being a decentralized platform, one cannot talk about the total users of Utopia. However, one metric which shows the growth is the number of miners running Utopia miners. So there are about 40,000 mining threads on an average, which has even touched about 50,000 at a time. It is important to mention that at times all the users are not the miners as well. So the figure of active users is certainly higher than those of the miners.
For sure. Well, that's good to know. And there's a bunch of functionality inside of the ecosystem that we didn't really get to touch on because there's so many different things. But one of the things that really caught my attention was the UNS, and this has become pretty popular. I've recently spoke to a bunch of domain name services and other service providers, and there's an influx of people that are buying these right now. Can you talk about the UNS system inside of Utopia and how that's going?
Utopia Naming System were the NFTs of Utopia even before the mainstream crypto started adopting it. While NFTs concept will be further incorporated inside Utopia, we have around 7,000 UNS have been registered already, and registering a 2-letter UNS currently costs around $6,000 in Utopia ecosystem, and there are about so many such 2-letter UNS which have already been claimed, like QQ, AV, etc. And although the team recently did leave a teaser recently that UNS and NFT expansion will be done inside Utopia in an unprecedented manner, not seen on the internet before. So that is something exciting, and we all are waiting for the update.
Very cool. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Hack. And for the viewers that are looking to start using this, learn more about the new stablecoin, the exchange, all of the other functionality that we didn't really have time to mention as well, what's the best way for people to learn more and to get involved in Utopia?
I would request everyone to check out their official website, which is u.is, or they can Google Utopia Ecosystem, and they will get to the right place, and they should explore it because there's so much to explore, and I'm sure they will find it very interesting.
Very cool. I will leave those links as well in the description box below. Thank you so much, Dr. Hack, for coming back on. All the best with the continued growth of Utopia Ecosystem, and let's follow up in the near future.
Thank you.